Hello and welcome. I'm Erlene Tilton. I'm here to help you create simple, tasty, healthy foods that are energizing, trimming, immune boosting, and all in just a few minutes. I like to share with you so many ways that you can put together tasty meals in about 10 minutes. Today, we are going to talk about holiday foods and some holiday gifts that you can make with essential oils. Now, why essential oils? To me, essential oils are such a great solution to many of the challenges that we face today. If you stop and think about it, and sometimes a lot of people don't really understand this, but there is more depression, more sickness, more weight gain, less energy, less sleep, and more mood and emotional problems that happen during this time of year. And I always say, what's the culprit? The two S's, stress and sugar. Sometimes we just try to overdo it. We can do it simply. We can do a lot of things more simply. And we don't need all the sugar. To me, that's contributing to the problem when we bake all these Christmas things and we're eating and consuming way more sugar than we need and that our bodies can handle. And that actually lowers our immunity. We can do just the opposite and raise our immunity or boost our immunity with essential oils. And that's why I love not only adding them to foods to boost immunity, but also adding them to gifts and using them in our gifts because they provide so many therapeutic benefits. So we're going to address both of these today. We are first going to make something that is immune boosting, and then we'll talk about some other immune boosting foods and gifts that you can create. And then we'll go into some gift ideas that you can make with essential oils that are also really good and therapeutic. And these are gifts that people do appreciate so much because they feel better. They feel that boost of immunity, and they just feel like they can make it through the holidays better. So what we're going to start with today is make a pumpkin cream roll. Now, this is absolutely one of my family's favorites when it comes to the Christmas season is a pumpkin cream roll. Now, if you've ever made a jelly roll, it's much of the same process, but we're not filling it with jelly. We're filling it with a creamy filling. And I will share with you right now the recipe that I have revised over the years. Now is completely dairy-free, sugar-free, and grain-free or gluten-free. So you don't have to make all of those alterations if you don't feel like you want to, but the recipe that I'm sharing with you today will be that. So let's get right in so that we can make this and get it in the oven and get it out and show you what the complete process is. Okay, so first we are going to make our batter here. And I'm going to put these in my mixing bowl. I know you probably can't see that very well, but we are going to start with 4 eggs, and I pre-measured most everything so that we can save a little bit of time. So the 4 eggs is what we're starting with. Half a cup of honey, and I try to put the oil in first so that it comes out a lot easier. It really helps. Next, we have 3/4 cup of pumpkin. Now, I usually do my pumpkin fresh. I prefer that, and it's not mashed or pureed, but we will do that as we blend it up. And we're going to start by blending this first. Let me put my lid back on here. A little noisy, but now, if you already have pureed pumpkin, it probably won't take quite as long. So I'm just going to spoon that down a little bit depending on what your mixing bowl is. Mine all ends up in the middle. And then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of almond flour, 1/3 cup of coconut flour, or you can just add 1 cup of any grain flour. Now, because I'm doing this gluten-free, it just needs a little bit of a binder. So I'm adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum. And xanthan just kind of is the binder and pulls it together. And so doing things gluten-free, it's a nice option to be able to have something that kind of creates that binder. Now in this, I have a 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we're adding all those together and going to turn it on. Now we are going to add the secret sauce, and that is our essential oils. So I'm going to start with 4 drops of cinnamon. Now, cinnamon is definitely one of our master immune boosters. I love cinnamon. The flavor is just so amazing. It's so much better than the powdered or ground cinnamon, which is really cassia, not cinnamon. And to me, I love the real cinnamon. I just love the flavor. I'm going to do 2 drops of ginger. And I'm going to do 1 drop of clove. Do these sound familiar? You know, during the winter months, we do a lot of things with pumpkin, and you will always see that cinnamon, ginger, and clove combination. Why? Because they support good immunity. So we see them in a lot of breads and a lot of pumpkin things like pumpkin pies and pumpkin desserts. And those 3 are just master. Clove is off the charts when it comes to immune boosting. Ginger is really good for digestion. And like I said, cinnamon is really good for blood sugar cravings, as well as curbing appetite and boosting immunity. Then we're going to add 2 drops of lemon essential oil. Lemon is great for cleansing, and we definitely want to have that component in there because that just makes it so complete. Again, like I said, you have turned this into something that's not so healthy into something that really is good and healthy for you. So now we're going to remove it from our beaters and put it in our jelly roll pan. Now, let me just show you what I did. This is my jelly roll pan, you can see. And I have put parchment paper on it, but I've actually oiled it a little bit. It just helps to have it come off a little bit easier. So we are going to put this on there and just spread it around. This is actually 2 pieces of square parchment paper. All right. Okay. Now, let's just spread it. You know what? I found that sometimes it's best to just get a spoon. And I'm going to do that. I hold that paper in place a little bit, but it's not too difficult. Now, this is going to be a very thin batter, and it will, even in the oven, it doesn't rise a whole lot. So if it doesn't rise a whole lot, that's fine. You're going to put a nice creamy filling in between and roll it up, and it just makes it really luscious, tasty. So we're just going to spread this out. You can see it's kind of thick. Now the xanthan kind of makes it a little bit thicker, and so does the coconut flour. If you make it with just regular flour, it won't be quite this thick, but it tastes about the same. I've really enjoyed the grain-free options. There's so many people that have some grain and gluten intolerances in today's world, and I'm one of them. I feel like I ate so much of that in my growing up years. I was just a bread lover, and I think my body got to the point where it said, I've had enough of that. And I just don't tolerate grains very well, and especially gluten. So I think many of us end up in that same situation simply because, we've kind of just overdone it a little bit, right? And that's how our bodies develop a little bit of an intolerance. Okay, now that we've got this all spread, there's one last step before we put it in the oven. We are going to actually add some chopped nuts. This is chopped pecans, and we're just going to put them right on there. And this is my chopper, so I just left it in the chopper. I'm just going to sprinkle them on. Thick or thin, or however you like it. And then we're going to bake it 350 degrees for about 15 minutes. So off to the oven we go. $350, our timer is set for 15 minutes. So we are going to be able to talk about some of the other things while we are waiting. Okay, we've got some of our items out of the way, and now we can talk about some other things that are really great at this time of year. And I'm actually going to start with some of the non-food gift items. Now, I really enjoy giving non-food gift items, and I think a lot of people really appreciate that. If you're like me, during the Christmas season, we get gifts from many well-meaning friends and neighbors, yes. And at a certain point, the counter is just covered with, and most of which we don't eat anyway. After a while, it just gets to be too much. So I've been one to take plates to the post office, to the feed store, to the school, just to kind of get rid of some of that. And I thought, I think we can do something better. I think we can, first of all, if we're going to do foods, let's make them healthier. And maybe we can think of non-food items. So let me show you first. These are called oil candles. And I think especially during this time of what we're going through, we never know what's ahead of us. And where I live, particularly in the mountains, we have power outages, especially during the winter time. And so to me, this is a great item to have on hand, is candles. But how about an oil candle? Have you ever used an oil candle? So these are just jars that I've picked up here and there. They're vases. You can get all kinds of different things, but basically you can put just some silk plants, pine cones, beads, whatever you like into to make it, colorful and pretty. And it just sits there until you need it. And then you fill it up to about an inch from the top with water. And after you add the water, you put about a ½ inch of oil. That can be any oil, canola oil, olive oil, corn oil, soy oil, whatever oil you want to burn. So it can be your cheap stuff. It doesn't have to be the expensive stuff. I also like to add just a couple of drops of essential oil. For instance, my favorite at this time of year is holiday peace. And it just gives a little bit of aroma, just very calming and soothing. And then you can see that I've put the instructions here on this little card, and I've included, as this gift, 2 little floating candles. So after you put the oil on, you put that little floating candle with the wick in there. And after you put the wick in there, you want to make sure and just let it soak for about 5 minutes so that you have oil on that wick. And then you can light it. And it will burn for several hours actually. When it starts to go out, you know you just need to add a little bit more oil. So this is great. This is what one looks like. This is what another one looks like. Like I said, you can do a variety in a variety of ways. Just make them pretty how you'd like. And include this little note as well as those floating wick candles. Now, because you're watching this, I do have an ebook for you, as well as I will send you exactly what I have done here, the instructions, as well as what to put in this little card. And all you have to do is email me, ask@erleentilton.com. That's ERLEENTILTON.com. So ask@erleentilton.com. Okay, another idea is much the same way, but it's very different. And that's an aroma jar. This is much like potpourri. And so basically, you don't want any of the fake stuff. You want all the real stuff that you can get in the forest. So I have peat moss right at the bottom. I usually put the peat moss in the bottom. And then I put leaves and little pine cones and actually nuts and pine needles. And there's a little bit of the fake berries in there. But most of what you see is all just from the forest. And you can fill jars like this and then just you put a piece of netting on top and secure it with a ribbon of some sort. Now I always put a little bottle of oil right here in the top. They don't see that. They want to be able to have a lid on this one so that you can cover it when not in use. But when in use, you can just add your oil right in the top. And I'm not going to use this one that I have here. I'll use mine here. And like I said, you just put in 4 or 5 drops right onto those pine cones. And it just acts as a diffuser or potpourri. Smells so good. You can just really enjoy that. So put that there in the corner or on the table, wherever you want to. And again, when not in use, put the lid back on and secure it tightly so that you can keep that aroma in. Next time you open it, it will still smell. So like I said, it's great to include a little bottle so people have something to put in there, and you can put that right at the top. Works really well. And these are just fun to make. Very, very inexpensive. All of these jars to be able to make are just really inexpensive. And you're basically just gathering things. Even if you live in the city, I'm sure there's a lot of landscaping that you can clip leaves from, and you can have a lot of different things in here that will work for you in your area. Another thing that I love to give at Christmas time, especially because people are under so much stress, is detox bath salts. Now, I also have a Serenity bath salts. That's really for calming and for de-stressing. This is the detox one, is specifically for helping to boost your immunity. It really helps to pull the toxins out. It really helps you relax. Having a detox bath or a Serenity bath before you go to bed, you have a wonderful night's sleep. Use about a half a cup. So there's probably 3 or 4 applications in here. And I just love it. People just love having a nice calming bath. You'll notice during Christmas time, women love spa products because they love to be able to de-stress and relax. And so this is a really fun idea and something that I feel like is always well received. Another thing you can do, and this is also really good for the bath, is a luxury lavender bubble bath. Now, if you don't like baths or you don't have a nice bathtub, you could always use this as a body wash. And it's still very calming and relaxing. But I love just putting even a half a teaspoon in the bathtub, maybe a teaspoon. It just, you just love the way you feel. That lavender is so calming and you just feel lovely after you get out. There's bath oils, there's lots of other fun things you can make. Here's some holiday room sprays. And this is my favorite. It's called Holiday Fir. And it has the Douglas fir, the grapefruit, and another oil. I'm not sure, I can't remember, but it's great. Not only to spray in different rooms, but especially the bathroom. You know, you can have a lovely fragrance and aroma in the bathroom. So I love these room sprays and they're just really great. So they just smell like Christmas. And there's a lot of different kinds. You can have more of the cinnamon or you can have more of the firs, whichever you like, whichever flavors you like. This is actually a sleep tight roller blend. And I love this because it really helps people have a great night's sleep. You can roll it on the back of your neck and on the bottoms of your feet right before you go to bed. People can feel the difference in being able to calm and relax and have a better night's sleep. So this is well received. Or there's a whipped Sleepy Time foot cream that I enjoy making. That's just really nice. You can rub it on your feet and back of the neck before you go to bed. And it just is really nice. Really nice. Last but not least is you can make perfumes. I love being able to make perfumes. I have a really nice perfume recipe that I think you'll really enjoy. And it has 3 oils, the Douglas fir, the wild orange, and magnolia, plus a little bit of fractionated coconut oil. It's a great roller blend and people just love it. Women feel so special with this perfume, I can tell you. And it's got a lot of amazing therapeutic benefits and you'll find that you love it and your friends will love it too. And they'll love you for giving it to them. Okay, so that's some of the fun non-food items. Now let's talk about some of the food. And I'm going to start with some of the food items that aren't necessarily treats, but are great as gifts. One of my favorite is this. It's called Immunity Cup. Now, this is a little bit more than a cup, and so you can do it in smaller quantities. But this is just a cup of honey that you add several essential oils to. Lemon, lime, wild orange, ginger, turmeric, and clove. I think I got them all. It's so good for building your immunity. And as you stir these in that honey, basically you just warm up hot water and get about a teaspoon of honey and put it in that hot water and you've got your immunity cup. So it's something that you could also add to a cup of tea if you're making an herbal tea or whatever. You could add it to other hot drinks, is what I'm saying. Or you could do it by itself. So it's great either way. You can enjoy this immunity cup. And like I said, other people just really love the tasty and therapeutic benefits that you get with this. So it's just really a great gift. The other things that I just love making at this time of year is seasoning salts. Wow, seasoning salts, once you start using seasoning salts, you don't use regular salt. Now, I always use the high mineral sea salts, such as Himalayan or Celtic or real salt. And that's where I start. But these are great. They have a lot of great essential oils, some coriander, basil, some of your citruses. This one's a stir fry one. And I love it not only with stir frying, but you can add it to baked potatoes, sweet potatoes. And my favorite way to do a salad is to just drizzle olive oil and then sprinkle a seasoning salt on it. Now, this one's an Asian one, and oh my gosh, am I in love with this one. It's got the ginger, cilantro, and basil in it, and they have the herbs as well. So you've got herbs and oils, and oh my gosh, these are both divine. I have others that I will include that you can see too, but these are good on so many foods. You will just love the taste and you'll love the wonderful benefits and being able to get away from the table salt and use something that's really good and good for you. That's just a real plus. Okay, so let's talk about some of the treats. So our first one is cinnamon popcorn. I love, just packaging it in a bag like this, or you could do it on a plate. You just pop your popcorn and add a little bit of salt. Then you're going to make a solution in the saucepan, cook it to soft boil stage, your honey, your butter, and or coconut oil. And then you add your essential oils to it. Your cinnamon, ginger, and clove, of course, and stir it into your popcorn and turn it all around. And then you sprinkle it with a little bit of ground cinnamon. Oh my gosh, this is so good. You could add nuts to it if you'd like. Okay, our pumpkin roll is done. So let's get it out and I'll show you what to do next. First, we are going to get I call them flour sack dishcloths. And they don't have to be very lovely, but we're just going to pour this right onto that. Now, I used to think we used to have something powdered or something, but no, you don't need any of that. So let me just put it right on the edge and we're just going to dump it over. Okay. Okay, so now it's time to take off the paper, and some of it does stick a little bit, and that's okay. Just kind of pull it off just carefully. It comes off pretty simple, especially if you put just that little tiny dab of oil on it. I found that I do like to oil the parchment just a tiny bit, and then it helps to get it off easier. Okay, so now we need to roll it up while it's warm. You want to roll it up when it's warm because that is how it's going to cool. You want it, if you wait until it's cool, then it will break when you roll it up. So we're going to actually roll the towel with it and just roll it up. So you've got the towel right in there. Okay, simple. Here we are. We are just going to let it sit here just for about 5 minutes and cool. And while we're letting it cool, we are going to make the cream filling. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here. Move these out of the way. And we are going to do our cream filling. So to save a little bit of time and not have to wash a bowl, I got another bowl. And we are going to first start with our cream cheese. Now, this is 8 ounces of coconut cream cheese. It is Diet brand, and I found they're pretty clean ingredients, and I really appreciate that. So, and this just comes from a regular grocery store. So if they're not carrying it, you can always ask, but more likely you might find it at health food store. So we're just going to put that in there. Comes right out really nicely. And then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of honey. And to this, we are going to add 3 drops of cinnamon and 3 drops of ginger. And again, we've got more cinnamon, which I just love. It's so tasty, so tasty. I love putting it in my warm drinks, warm herbal teas. 3 drops of ginger. Again, ginger is really good for digestion, and that's always helpful, right? Okay, now we are just going to stir this up. Oops. Make sure that I'm got my cord in the right. Whoops. Okay. Okay. We are just going to put this aside for a quick minute while we just wait until our pumpkin roll has had just a few minutes to cool. Okay, so just a couple of more things that I'm going to show you when it comes to fun holiday foods. One of them is immunity bites. Now, I love these immunity bites. They're with nut butters and coconut, and you can actually roll them in coconut or sesame seeds or even chopped nuts. And they have some dried berries in them as well. So really tasty. I've added essential oils to them. Again, your lemon, your wild orange, or wild orange. These are great for great flavorings, the lemon or wild orange. But I've also added like some cinnamon, ginger. They just are so yummy. So yummy. You will just love these little bites. And there's so many different type of balls or bites that you can create. And I have several recipes within pumpkin. The orange fruit nut. I really like the orange fruit nut ones. They're actually dried fruit that you put in your meat grinder. So there's a lot of these types that you can make during this time of year. And like I said, they're all good and healthy for you. There's nothing harmful at all. And like I said, let's be the solution, not the problem. Let's help boost people's immune system with the gifts that we get them. And they're tasty. People love them. So why not make something like that? Another gift that I love making is called Cinnamon Trio. Now, I love the Cinnamon Trio. And the reason it's called Trio is there's 3 of 3. 3 nuts, 3 seeds, and 3 fruits. And you can actually pick what ones you want. So for instance, the nuts, I put in cashews and pistachios and pecans. Or you could put walnuts, you could put almonds, whatever you'd like. For the seeds, I put in the sesame, sunflower, and pumpkin. And for the dried fruits, I actually put in dried blueberries, dried cherries, dried apples. Sometimes I put in dried mangoes. Actually, I prefer the mangoes. And there's other dried fruits that you could use, goji berries. There's just a lot of fun things that you can do. Then again, kind of like the popcorn, you're going to put honey in a saucepan and cook it up, and then add your cinnamon at the end, plus a few other items. Stir it over. It just makes it nice and crisp. You will, so it's nice and crisp. Love it. So this is a great thing to give to people. They love the flavor of the cinnamon. It's just very tasty. Who doesn't like nuts? So this is really great. Last but not least is our pumpkin cream roll. And this is basically what it looks like. Giving plates of these, oh my gosh, everybody's in love with the pumpkin cream roll. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do this so that it looks like this. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, let me get our pumpkin cream roll here. And we are going to unroll it. And then we are going to put our filling on that we just mixed up and spread it around. You just want to put kind of a thin, even coat. You know, this isn't difficult at all. It's just not difficult at all. And everybody loves it. Everybody that tries this just absolutely loves it. This feels still a little bit warm. If you wait till it's totally cool, it's actually better. All right. Just going to spread it here so it's evenly. And like I said, it makes you feel good when you know that you're doing something good for somebody. Having these immune boosting benefits with the essential oils, plus providing just really amazing flavors, is such a plus. You just can't do that with kind of your regular foods. And your spices don't have the benefits that your essential oils do. You've got those unique flavors, but you've got so many therapeutic benefits, and that's what's wonderful. So this time we're going to roll it up, and no, we're not going to roll in the towel with it. And if it breaks, hey, it's really okay. It's okay. You can help with the towel though. And I found that that is easier. Sometimes it does break, but you know, it's going to be in a roll. So don't stress, just let it break. It's okay. And just kind of lift it up. And there we've got our pumpkin roll. There we go. You can see it cracked a little bit there. Hey, no worries, no worries. Now what I do from here, and this is really important, is I get a piece of plastic wrap because you want to have it keep its form. And I just get it long enough to be able to go on the other side of it. To go all the way around it. Okay. And with this towel, we're just going to lift it up carefully. Just kind of roll it over. Okay, there we go. Now we've got it rolled on there, and sorry, never can tell what you can't see or not. So we are going to wrap this around here again so we can keep the form. Just fold that underneath. And then I like to put it right back on my pan and put it in the refrigerator. So put it in the refrigerator until it's at least set. And then when it's cool, you can slice it like this. So it's fun. It's fun to be able to make this, and it's fun to be able to make and create great therapeutic, inexpensive gifts, and also create some food items that are immune boosting. We all benefit as we do this. So how do you start? Download the PDF that I have there for you and look at all the information, which I have just shared now. Secondly, make sure that you have your essential oils. You can't do a lot of these things and get those immune boosting properties without your essential oils. These are what save the day. So just go to dropbydropwellness.com. You can order them retail or wholesale. I always recommend wholesale. So just push that, become a member, because that's where you're going to get that 25% savings, which is considerable. And then you can decide whether you want to order regularly or just on occasion. It's totally up to you. Number 3 is try the recipes. See what you think about these. I think you will just love the flavors. Everybody does. And then be able to share this with your friends. Who doesn't like tasty, healthy treats during the holidays? Share the information with them so that they can enjoy the benefits as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've learned a lot, and I hope that you have a wonderful holiday season.